know I got the receipts, girl. You know I got the receipts. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to ExpressVPN, friend of the channel and protector of my online data. They are giving away 3 months free on a 1-year package to all Sweet Pea Diaries viewers by using the link in the description box below. Now, this is a service that I personally use 100% of the time when I'm on the internet using my phone or computer. It allows me to bypass content restrictions while traveling and ensures all of my data is 100% private and safe wherever I connect to the internet. Using ExpressVPN also allows you to get discounts when using services like Expedia, NBA League Pass, and Netflix. ExpressVPN also has 24/7 customer support to answer any questions and support all of your needs. So take back your internet privacy today by clicking on the link in the description box below and find out how you can get 3 months free. Welcome back to the Sweet Pea Diaries. It's your girl Sweet Pea, and I am back with another video. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. And if you are a new subscriber, welcome to the Sweet Pea Diaries. Be sure to like the video, share the video, but most importantly, be sure to subscribe to the channel. So welcome back, you guys. I would like to thank ExpressVPN for sponsoring tonight's show. Please click the link in the description box if you would like to take advantage of a discount by using the link provided. Now, a lot of people have been asking me about what do we think about Megan Thee Stallion and Kelsey and Tory Lanez and all of that whole thing. And you guys know, hey, everybody in the chat, I see you. I see Dion. I see Aaron. Hey, Aaron. I see Michelle. I see Tracy. My members, Dion and Coach. What's going on with the members? Hey, y'all. Hey, Tracy. I see everybody. And so, yes. And all of my Bush babies and everyone in the bushes, hello. Now, a lot of people was asking me about this. What do I think about Kelsey, Tory, and all that? Now, listen, somebody in my chat, well, she's always in the chat, but she's a member. Hey, Dina. She is a member. And she also, she's very active in the chat when she's here. And she left a comment stating that Tory, Kelsey, and Megan was in a 3-way. And you know what? I believe that. I'm like, she probably got jealous, Kelsey, when she found out that they was doing the do behind her back, and pow, all these things happened because they got to arguing, and that's how it transpired, child. Now, it has been found by the jury that Tory Lanez is guilty, okay, on all counts, and Tory Lanez is facing up to 22 years behind bars. Now, we're going to talk about this tonight. There's a lot of discussion around this. And so I did not want to jump the gun because we had already did like a little deep dive, a documentary type style video on this. You guys can go and check that video out. It's almost at 9K views. Go and check that out. We outlined what happened. She was at, they was all at Kylie's and everything. And we showed how this thing went down. So go and check that video out. And we also had some conversation around Beyonce and Jay-Z, Roc Nation having an investment in Meg Thee Stallion. We knew that Tory was not going to get off with this, honey. They wasn't going to let that boy walk up out of there being found not guilty. I don't care how much of a debacle and how much of asses they made themselves in court. He wasn't walking out of that thing not guilty. Okay, that just wasn't going to happen. Not with Roc Nation and them involved. No, sir. So I have some clips that I want us to take a look at. We're going to we're going to go through this thing from beginning to end. There were 9 days in court. And so we're going to go through some clips, some news footage, and then I'm going to give some commentary and give some context to, what I see and what I think happened here. All right. So let's jump into it.
Tory Lanez included highly anticipated testimony today. Rapper Megan Thee Stallion arrived at a Los Angeles courthouse this morning where she testified about what she says happened on the night of July 12th, 2020. Performer Tory Lanez is accused of shooting her after a night out, but his attorney claims that he's innocent and that this is all just a case of jealousy. ABC's Zareen Shah was in the courtroom today. Zareen, what did Megan say happened that night?
Lindsay, it wasn't just what she said happened, it's how she said it. She was really emotional in court today. She said, this story is not just about a shooting. This story is about who I had sex with. You remember yesterday, the defense, they were really pitting her against her friend, talking about the fact that they shared intimate partners, multiple intimate partners. She said in court today, I had just done a song with Beyonce. I did something of my dreams and I was shot at. And she said, they're calling this the Megan Thee Stallion trial. I am not on trial. I wish he would have killed me. If I knew I would have to go through this torture, I wish he would have killed me. She did say a lot that was very, very important, aside from just some of the really emotional things that she said. She dropped some bombshells. She says that Tory offered her $1 million to keep quiet. That he said, please don't say anything. And then he told her, I was already caught with a gun. I'm on probation. She says he was not worried about her at all.
Wow, really dramatic testimony there. And what did Tory's attorney tell you that their goal was for the cross-examination today?
You know what, I asked him right before lunch. I said, so what's your goal? What do you hope to accomplish today? He said, we're going to show how she lies. And you could certainly tell sitting in that courtroom that that was their goal. The attorney said, the defense attorney said, you lied on national TV. Megan said, yes. He said, you lied to Detective Stockman. She said, yes. He said, you lied about having an intimate relationship with Tory. She said, yes. Look, we know that she has not been truthful about her intimate relationship with Tory. She now says that they did have an intimate relationship. And then the defense attorney pressed her on some really granular details. And there were some moments where she said, I don't remember. I could have, maybe. You could tell that he was really trying to poke holes in her story that she gave to her lawyers. He also said yesterday, Lindsay, and this was one of the most interesting things that I think he said yesterday, he said there was a witness who saw a female with a gun. It's a really important detail. And then my producer, Abby, saw the lawyer today, and she said, can you clarify this? What do you mean about with a gun? And I pressed him upstairs about this as well. And he says, I said, do you mean holding a gun? And he said, no, with a gun. He basically meant in the vicinity of a gun, near a gun. Mind you, this is not something that the jurors know. They are still remembering what he said yesterday, that a witness saw a female with a gun. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens with that detail, if that's clarified for the jurors.
Such a steamy case. You actually have steam rising all around you.
Now, we know, even after this, we know that there was a witness, which was going to be the bodyguard. He couldn't be located, and he is missing. Okay. So this whole situation, they put Megan's sex life on trial. And, no matter how many people she has had sex with, no matter whether or not if they were in a three-way, the fact remains is the woman was shot. And that's what everyone is really trying to get at. It's like a black woman is shot, a black woman is victimized, and here it is, people are worried about her sex life. And, you know, the fact that if they had a three-way or not, the point is she was harmed, she was hurt, she was shot. So there's a lot of, you know, different opinions about this, but let's get into this whole thing about the goddamn bodyguard missing, honey. Let's keep it going.
His former bodyguard has allegedly disappeared amid the Tory Lanez trial. The celeb's attorney tells E! News, I can confirm that Justin Edison, Megan Thee Stallion's bodyguard, was set to testify in court, but did not appear and is now missing. While he added that law enforcement is investigating the apparent disappearance, a Los Angeles Police Department spokesperson told E! News on December 18th that they have not received a missing persons report naming Megan's former bodyguard. As fans know, Tory is accused of shooting Megan in the feet after leaving a house party. In July 2020, she took to Instagram to declare that she'd, quote, suffered gunshot wounds as a result of a crime that was committed against me and done with the intention to physically harm me, adding that the police drove her to the hospital where she underwent surgery to have the bullets removed. The next month, Megan went on Instagram Live claiming that Tory was the person who fired the gun and caused her foot injuries. Tory later pleaded not guilty to assault and gun charges related to the shooting. On December 13th, Megan testified that Tory ordered her to, quote, dance before he shot her feet, NBC News reported. She also told jurors that just after she was shot, Tory offered her $1 million to keep quiet because he was on probation. Megan's former bodyguard was scheduled to testify in the trial on December 16th. While he was not present the night of the incident, Megan's former friend Kelsey Harris allegedly texted Justin, quote, help, Tory shot Meg, 911, prosecutors said in court earlier this week per Insider. E! News has reached out to Tory's attorney and the DA, but has not heard back.
So that's interesting that, you know, the bodyguard came up missing, honey. And, you know, he was nowhere to be found because he wasn't even there that night, but they wanted to show that, you know, Kelsey had texted him and said, help, Tory shot Meg, and this whole dance beat thing, you know, I mean, it's just so much, and it was so, you know, a lot of things went down that night. They was all drinking, you know, it was a lot of alcohol involved. Megan said there's things that she couldn't remember, you know, could have happened, she could have said, but one thing I found interesting was once Kelsey got up on that stand, she was provided immunity and she did not give the prosecution what they thought she was going to be giving them. Okay. Now, this is what happened on day 4 of this trial.
Is on day 4 of her ex Tory Lanez shooting trial. The rapper was silent today walking into LA Superior Court. He's accused of allegedly firing a gun at Meg's feet from a car parked outside this home, leaving Kylie Jenner's party back in 2020. The defense seemed poised to point the finger at the other passenger in the car, Meg's ex-BFF, Kelsey Harris.
You gonna tell it? Is it the truth or a lie? Is it the truth or a lie?
Today, Kelsey was back on the stand for cross-examination after pleading the fifth and recanting her original testimony, including that she saw Tory point the gun at Meg. Kelsey also allegedly sent this text to security obtained by CBS News, help, Tory shot Meg. If convicted, Tory faces more than 22 years behind
On Crime Daily, I'm Jesse Weber. Megan Thee Stallion testified in court that fellow rapper Tory Lanez offered her $1 million to not report him to police for allegedly shooting her, but the woman who Lanez says was the actual shooter may have just thrown a wrench in the case with her testimony, or maybe I should say lack thereof. Now, Megan Thee Stallion was in a Los Angeles courtroom Tuesday as part of the assault trial against Lanez. The prosecution maintains that Megan, Lanez, and Megan's former friend Kelsey Harris were in a car after a get-together at Kylie Jenner's house when there was some sort of argument. When she got out of the car, Megan claimed she heard Lanez tell her to dance and saw the gun in his hand. Either bullets or shrapnel hit her in the foot. On the stand, Megan was emotional, saying that the aftermath of the shooting included backlash against her on social media and from the rap industry, and that this has been very difficult for her. Now, on the other side, Lanez says it was actually Kelsey who fired the gun, and he's being set up. But in a new twist, Kelsey was given immunity by prosecutors after invoking her Fifth Amendment right while on the stand. And during her testimony, she decided not to answer crucial questions about the case. So I want to bring in my co-host and defense attorney, Brian Buckmeyer. Brian, this has all just happened before the lunch break in the West Coast case. What is going on right now?
Jesse, Kelsey Harris was asked when Tory threatened to shoot you exactly what did Tory say, but she wouldn't answer, instead pleading the Fifth multiple times before the judge let the jury out to go for lunch. Pleading the Fifth is everyone's right, and Kelsey Harris is welcome to use it without it being held against her, especially considering she has immunity. But it can be used as evidence or lack thereof in asking whether or not Tory Lanez is guilty of the crimes he is charged with. And this does not look good for the prosecution. If Harris is pleading the Fifth and the judge is allowing it, then Harris's attorney must have been able to explain to the judge that there's some potential crime that she could be admitting to. Now, she has immunity, which was given to her pretty easily. That might explain something to the jury, but this is their star witness, and it looks like it's falling apart.
Yeah, let me bring in co-host and former trial attorney Terry Austin on this. So, Terry, based on what we've heard so far, what's your theory about who actually shot Megan Thee Stallion or shot at Megan Thee Stallion?
You know, at first I really thought it was Tory Lanez, and she said she saw him shoot at her, but now we have Kelsey, who's on the stand, and she has immunity, and yet she's not saying whether it was she who shot that gun. So it's unclear to me whether or not Lane shot the gun, whether or not Kelsey shot the gun, and if she really does want to protect herself, then she is protected with this immunity agreement. She can go ahead and say, look, it was me, I did it, but she is not saying that. So I'm a little bit confused at this point. I'm not sure. I think we have to see more evidence, and in fact, I think no matter what anybody says, whose gun was that and whose bullet was it?
I thought the whole case itself had a lot of drama. Who knew that this was going to happen in a courtroom? It's just an unpredictable, complicated aspect about it. And I should tell you, this case, which has been more than 2 years in the making, is getting a lot of attention on social media, especially among journalists, music journalists, and fans. People came out to the courthouse to show their support for Megan Thee Stallion.
People of color being victims of domestic violence, they are often villainized. It's not right, and it's unfortunate because there is no perfect victim per se at the end of the day. If you are a strong person and you have a voice and you stand up for yourself and you stand up for your boundaries, you're villainized. So our job is to stand with survivors. We're here to make sure that survivors know that they have a voice, they have an opportunity to come forward, and it's really scary to do so.
All right, so this is a case that's going to leave people divided. Some say she's a witness. Others say she's the shooter. Well, the woman whose testimony could be pivotal in an assault case involving A-list celebrities took the stand again on Thursday. Kelsey Harris arrived at an LA courthouse Thursday morning to continue her testimony about the night rapper Megan Thee Stallion was shot in the foot. Harris, former best friend and assistant to Megan, was at a get-together at Kylie Jenner's house along with Megan and rapper Tory Lanez. There was an argument as the three were getting in a car to leave, and Megan got out, and she testified that she was walking away when Lanez told her to dance and shot toward her feet. Lanez says, though, he's innocent and that he's being set up. The judge isn't allowing any electronics in the courtroom, but the good news is Law and Crime senior reporter Megan Cuniff has been taking very detailed notes and bringing us what she saw and heard during testimony.
So she was testifying, but while she was testifying, she wanted to plead the Fifth to when she was asked about Tory threatening to shoot her in the car before the car stopped and Megan got out and was shot. And she really didn't want to answer that question. She did confirm that Tory did threaten to shoot her, but when the prosecutor asked what he said, she asked if she could plead the Fifth, and they said no, that she can't. And that was just really hard for her, you could tell. She really struggled with saying anything incriminating about Tory or just trying to say anything about him in any way. But the prosecutor really, over a kind of painful couple hours, tried to kind of press her about the fact that she was very candid about this back in September in a recorded interview that, of course, they were able to play for the jury. And she sounds a lot more candid about the shooting, and she's talking about how she saw Tory doing the shooting. She wouldn't get into that on the stand.
Co-host, legal analyst, former trial attorney Terry Austin's here with me now. Terry, most people have heard of pleading the fifth, but there is a lot more that goes into it than I just don't want to talk, right?
Well, exactly, Jesse. I mean, the Fifth Amendment provides the right to remain silent. It says, no person shall be compelled in any, quote, criminal case to be a witness against himself. But like all laws, the Fifth Amendment is subject to interpretation by the courts, and the Supreme Court has expanded the right to remain silent to include interrogations, depositions, civil proceedings. So the setting doesn't affect the availability of the privilege as long as there is a threat of criminal liability. Now, Jesse, get this. That doesn't mean you can arbitrarily refuse to testify. The case law also states that the threat of future criminal prosecution must be, quote, reasonable and appreciable. So in a trial setting, that means the judge will determine whether you can assert the privilege. If the judge agrees that there's a real threat of future prosecution, then you can remain silent. But if the judge says no, then you could be compelled to testify, and if you refuse, you could be held in contempt. So there's a lot to consider.
There is. Yeah, Terry, thanks for breaking that down. I think it's important for everybody to understand. But I should tell you, during her testimony, Harris told the Los Angeles County Deputy District Attorney that there were things she wasn't entirely truthful about in the recorded interview. She testified that she has moved on with her life, but that Megan spread rumors about her taking hush money, something that she denies ever being paid off, and she rebutted all attempts by the DA to press her into saying that she saw Tory Lanez shoot Megan. I'm here with co-host and public defender Brian Buckmeyer as well. I want to get your input on this. So this trial really took a turn when Kelsey Harris got on the stand, right?
Yeah, Jesse, Kelsey Harris was supposed to be the prosecution's star witness, and she was anything but. Her testimony left people speculating, was she paid off? She testified to Tory Lanez offering her $1 million for a lawyer, but then she pled the fifth when asked if Tory Lanez threatened her. But how would that answer incriminate her unless it bleeds into what she did in response? So the question becomes, what did Kelsey say or do in response to being threatened by Tory Lanez? Add on top of that, she said that she told investigators back in September statements that were the bedrock of the prosecution's opening statements were now false. But at the end of the day, in this criminal case, it only matters what these 12 jurors think. And so far, I can't imagine they're all on the same page. And if they are, if they're not, that spells reasonable doubt that may lead to a hung jury or not guilty. I don't know if Tory Lanez is innocent or not, but that's not what the jury is deciding. It's deciding if the prosecution has proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt, and that, after Kelsey Harris' testimony, I'm not sure.
Here's a prediction. I think at the end of this, we'll still not know exactly what happened that day. That's my prediction. Brian, great explanation. Thank you so much.
And that's actually what I had thought too, that we weren't going to know who did what. And I feel like we still don't really, even though the jury found him guilty, I feel like people are still having conversation that he's not. And that Kelsey really did it. Kelsey fired the shot, and she fired the first shot, and then he shot 5 times or 4 times or whatever. There's still people speculating and adding their own 2 cents to it. But I want to play one more clip, and then we're going to get into my commentary, okay?
Contributor and host at the Law and Crime Network, Brian Buckmeyer, joining me now live for more on this. All right, Brian, what can we expect from the closing arguments today, and which side do you feel has won over the jury so far?
Right. So when it comes to closing arguments in California, the prosecution gets a bit of an advantage in that they get to go first, then the defense, then they get to rebut. So far, the prosecution's already done 75 minutes of their beginning closing argument, and the defense got cut short, but they're going to continue again today. What I expect is the defense to play both offense and defense in their arguments to try to push back on the narrative of the prosecution, them being the argument that it's clear as day. Believe Megan Thee Stallion and the obvious connections, and it's that Tory Lanez shot at Megan Thee Stallion. For the defense, they're going to say, hey, there are too many stories here. There's too much chaos here. You can't believe any one story here, and that confusion bodes well for the defense because it's the prosecution has to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. I think it leans a little bit more to the defense in this case.
All right, well, look, as we just heard in Stephanie's piece earlier this week, a neighbor who witnessed the shooting testified for the defense. Did his testimony paint a better picture of what exactly happened that night, or did it just add to the confusion?
I think it adds to the confusion. Better maybe depending on who you think is right in this case, because he adds another narrative that I can see the defense jumping on, where he's saying that he saw the two women arguing. He believes that at least the initial shot came from a female, and then Tory Lanez is shooting everywhere, not necessarily down at the ground, but everywhere. So a defense could jump on that and say, hey, Kelsey shot at Megan Thee Stallion, and then Tory took the gun and trying to break it apart. Or you could say that this person missaw what they saw and it didn't happen the way it occurred. Or you can jump and say, hey, him shooting everywhere, one of those shots or two of those shots or whatever it may be, we're at Megan Thee Stallion. Again, you just got another set of narratives, not really knowing one fact being more important than the other.
All right. And finally, what about Megan's bodyguard, who has apparently vanished before he was expected to testify? I mean, what do you make of that?
This is a huge step back for the prosecution and a huge win for the defense, because the defense will tell you, and every defense attorney will tell you, it's not their job to put on a case. It's their job to poke holes in the case. And when you have the recipient of this text message that says 911, Megan got shot, that's huge evidence that's supposed to corroborate Megan Thee Stallion's case. But when that falls apart and that witness doesn't come forward, the defense gets to kind of poke holes and say, well, why didn't he show up? What would he have said if he did take the stand? And it really pulls apart at the prosecution's case when they promised so much at the beginning.
Brian Buckmeyer, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Ooh. And now, honey, looking at some tea that I just found on ABC 7, coming out of Los Angeles, as the jury deliberated for this case, the actual bodyguard resurfaced and turned himself in. Honey, they said Justin Edison surrendered on Friday, okay? The family surrendered him. He was found and a bench warrant was recalled. He came forward today because of what was happening to his family. Justin Edison, who was working as a bodyguard for Megan Thee Stallion during the time of the incident until early 2021, was scheduled to appear on the witness stand last Friday, but never showed up. Okay? Edison said he had not heard from Justin. The father, Harold Edison, had told Good Morning America in an interview that he had not heard from his son since last Thursday. My hope is that Justin comes forward so that he doesn't assume the risk that we discussed before. I explained to him that this is not worth the risk. We must maintain our integrity, he added. Harold Edison said that investigators from the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office were searching for his son after he failed to appear for his scheduled testimony, with a SWAT team entering their home and placing him in handcuffs in front of his 8-year-old daughter. I really want this to stop. This is a clear abuse of law enforcement. Asked to confirm whether a SWAT team was sent to Harold Edison's home, the DA's office did not respond, and they did not comment. As this matter involves a trial in progress, we declined to comment, a spokesperson for the DA's office told ABC News on Tuesday when asked to confirm reports that the investigators were looking for Justin. Meanwhile, Justin Edison's attorney told ABC News on Monday that she had no comment in the case. Justin Edison was present in the aftermath of the alleged shooting and was subpoenaed to testify. Child, but he done been found, honey. He done turned himself in. See, but what I need to know is I wonder what will happen and what would be the what would be the punishment for him not answering that subpoena and coming to court. And then, child, Tory's family outside of court. Someone just sent me a receipt. Dion, yes, sweetie, I did get your Christmas gift. Thank you very much. And thank you to the person that just sent me a Cash App as well. I got that. Thank you everyone that sent Cash Apps earlier. Thank you very much, because those are going towards the little Christmas fund. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. And to everyone out there, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year coming up. All right, but Tory's family was out there acting a fool. Now, I know Tory is from the islands. Is it Haiti, I want to say? And his family is given very much Haitian. Okay, they were outside talking about, you know, God is going to punish people for this verdict, you know, talking about people got children and how dare they find him guilty. I mean, they are very upset, and, you know, they just really voiced how upset they were outside of that courthouse, screaming, hollering, going crazy. And yes, Toxic K, you right, he should have went to court voluntarily. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen in regards to that. And a lot of people are saying that Kelsey should be brought up on perjury, but I'm not sure if that will happen if she was given immunity. You know, when a person's given immunity, I think that, you know, that's, you know, like a guarantee that whatever they say can't be held against them. I don't know if that has to do anything with lying or I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, the Shay Show, they out there cutting up. They out there acting Haitian very much. Look like they want to put some roots on somebody or something. That's what they out there doing. But this whole thing, I believe, you know, I watched Tory swag and I seen how he was going in and out of court. I don't know why he felt that his son, it was necessary for the little boy to be at court. Wasn't he missing school? I know it's winter break and some of the kids are out, but I don't think they were out until a few days ago. And this little boy was at every court appearance. And I'm like, is it necessary? But I think Tory was playing into, you know, the cameras, playing into the blogs and the court of public opinion. He was winning in that court of public opinion. He's winning with the rappers. He's winning with, you know, the industry. But I don't think that had anything to do with what was going to happen inside of court. So he had this swag, like he thought he was really going to get away with this and he was going to come away not guilty. But that them jury, honey, they was like, no, you are guilty, sir. You're guilty. Now, a lot of talk is that Kelsey, Megan, and Tory were in some sort of a three-way relationship. And, you know, Kelsey got upset when she found out that Meg and Tory did something behind her back. And so, you know, she was already enraged about, you know, I guess her and Megan sharing mans and this one doing it behind this one back and all this. And so, you know, she allegedly, the witness said that she was the one that shot the first shot, and then Tory grabbed a gun and he just started firing everywhere. You know, I can believe that could have been a narrative, that it could have went down like that. But regardless to how it went down, who, what, when, why, whatever, the fact of the matter is that the woman was shot. And that's what people are trying to say. The fact of the matter is that she was shot. And as a victim, Black women are often victimized, and people just overlook our stories and overlook what it is that we say. And now you get the, oh, you deserve it because you were drunk. Oh, you deserve it because you were sleeping with this person. Your sex life put on trial. Your sex life put in, you know, the police and all these people, prosecutors, DAs, all these people are now examining your sex life. And like Megan said, why is her sex life on trial? She wasn't even on trial. Tory Lanez was on trial. So I agree with that 100%. I do believe that this was a case that was heavily played out in the press. And I think that Tory was, you know, he really thought that he was going to walk away found not guilty because of how it was playing out in the public. But that don't got nothing to do with the courtroom. You know, the evidence, the stories and evidence that was put before the jury. Honey, E.J. King, honey, when he came up in there to testify on behalf of Megan stylist, honey, he had that weave flowing and everything. He posted his, you know, his little post on Instagram with the Special Victims Unit music playing behind. People ate his ass up. on the internet about that. You know, there's like, you know, you making fun, you poking and everything at her, you know, her circumstance. But, you know, this is what people do. This is what people do. I think people are so jaded now. We don't take life seriously. We don't take people's lives seriously. We poke fun at everything. The internet is not to be played with, okay? The internet is always undefeated. Nowadays, we are so jaded and so we just do not take people's lives seriously, right? And I believe that has a lot to do with social media. I think social media plays a lot into that, with people just not being serious about death, not being serious about people being hurt. This whole situation just, it's still just like, you don't really know if it's true. Like, if this, it's just not solid. Like, the story, is this what really happened? Did he really shoot her? You know, people still, even though he's found guilty, people still, well, did it really happen like that? You know? So, I mean, that just speaks to the way we see things, the way the public is now. It's just not black and white anymore. You know, everybody got a narrative, and what if this? Well, I think this. Well, and it's like, no, she was shot. Whoever did it, the point is she was shot, okay? Whether we teased and we was she really shot? Was that glass? Was that rubble from the road? Okay, they proved in court that she was shot. Period. She is a victim. She was shot. And I believe that is where people are coming from that stand with Megan. She was shot. A black woman was shot. We don't take black women's lives seriously. We don't take them being victims seriously. We don't really believe that their lives matter. When we say protect black women, when we stand with black women, do we really believe this stuff that we are saying? Right? Hi, Princess. Princess says they have no empathy. They have no empathy, no sympathy. And y'all go over there and subscribe to the House of Princess. She's another content creator that we support here on this platform. But yeah, you know, I believe that is what the conversation is with the people that support Megan. They're just like, listen, why is her sex life on trial here? Tory Lanez is on trial. And if it was a man, you know, they wouldn't be, if it was, you know, the shoe was on the other foot, his sex life wouldn't be on trial. His sex life wouldn't be being picked apart. Him being a drunk, being called a drunk, drinking, being drunk wouldn't be on trial. People would not be second guessing that. You know, it's definitely a double standard. So who shot Megan? Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez is facing 22 years behind bars. Tory's career is over. Period. And see, this just goes to show you how one instance, one night of fun drinking can lead to a whole lifetime of problems. Your entire career, everything you've worked for, down the drain behind something like this. This is why people have to take their anger. They have to get those anger issues. They have to get counseling, seek help, and get that shit under control. That little man syndrome, whatever Tory Lanez is suffering from, he should have got help, should have got counseling, because the rage, it is apparent that that rage was not in check, because now look, now you have shot someone and now you are going to jail, because he's not going to not go to jail. If you are facing 22 years, you've been found guilty of shooting someone, you're going to jail. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think he's going to get 22 years, but he's going to go to jail. Okay. So, right. She was not on trial. Toxic. You are correct. She was not on trial. They talking about free Tory. They crazy. I mean, period. Iris said Kelsey and Megan used to be lovers. Princess says, how do you know that? Where's that printed? Was that printed anywhere? I don't know if they were or not, but a lot of people are saying that they were all in a three-way relationship And Megan and Tory, you know how that is. People that get in these entanglements like that, you know, the rule is that we all three do this together. Ain't no dipping off, nobody sneaking off, doing it without the other one knowing. And they're saying that Kelsey got upset because Megan and Tory went behind her back and they were screwing. And now when all this was brought out, her anger got the best of her and she shot first. And then Tory grabbed the gun and boom, that's how it went. It sounds plausible. But hey, anything is plausible. But one thing we do know, Megan was shot. And that's something that, you know, that's serious. A black woman injured, a black woman shot, her life in danger. That's a lot. I mean, come on. She's an entertainer. He's an entertainer. Y'all at Kylie Jenner house. Y'all somewhere in the Hollywood Hills around all these mansions, all this money. And what you're shooting at someone. I mean, come on. But hey, alcohol was involved. You know, people get crazy when they start drinking. Tory's lawyer already mentioned filing an appeal. Can you remind us how the appeal process works? Period. In the appeal process, we all know how that works. So they will file an appeal. Now, with the appeal, there has to be an error in the case. You can't just appeal because you don't like the verdict. So they have to go through, they got to go through the entire case, and they got to find out what are they going to appeal on. An appeal is basically you saying, we don't accept this verdict based on these errors. So if there's really nothing to appeal on, they got to find something to appeal on. But usually, you know, lawyers are able to dig through and find something that they can appeal. But you just can't appeal because you don't like the verdict. I feel they were freaky. Princess says, I feel they were freaky, but I want to have proof, not just my opinion or rumor, period. And, you know, that's all speculation at this point. There's a lot of speculation that was going around, which is why I did not do my video until now, because I wanted to make sure that I had a conclusion. He found guilty, you know, because I didn't want to come up here and be like, oh, he's going to be found not guilty because, you know, they ain't got no proof. No, I wanted to wait till they had that verdict because I knew it wasn't going to take long. It wasn't going to be long. Lily says, plus the prosecutor can bring more charges against him. That's true. So really, they need to just leave it alone. They need to go ahead and leave it alone, walk away with trying to. And listen, my whole thing is if they offered him a plea deal, I bet you he wish he had took that damn plea deal now. See, Tory was banking on how he was riding it out in the press. He thought he had this shit in the bag because the way it was looking out on the media. Honey, when you get in the court is a whole nother ball game. See, you got to convince them jurors. And you got to, you know, the proof and everything that they have, the evidence that's stacked against you, that's what you got to, those are the people that you got to prove wrong. Not us, not the court of public opinion. Because, honey, he was swagging. Tory looked like he thought he had that thing in the bag. Okay, he had Milagro, Grams, and everybody reporting on his behalf, honey. He thought he was going to win this thing. That ain't how it worked. I always tell y'all, in court, YouTube court, all that, two different things. Okay, real life versus the internet, two different things. Yeah, he thought he was, honey, he was swagging. He thought he had that thing in the bag, and them jurors reminded him, no, sir, don't celebrate yet. Okay. The destination had a lot to do with that verdict. I don't understand that. But, you know, I'm not surprised that he is found guilty. Well, those bloggers are quiet now. Lipstick Hustler Lily says, this is why I don't do that. I don't jump out the, you know, I don't jump out the gate, and I don't just report on things because it's trending and because it's getting views, because I don't want to have to do a retraction. My first video that I showed was just a timeline, and it just showed how things went down, you know, and just a little kiki and fun of what I think might have happened and stuff like that. But to really like be breaking this thing down and saying this is what, no, I don't do that, because I don't know how things are going to work. You know, inside of the court, it's a whole nother thing. So, Tory was listening to DJ Academics, period. That's what he was doing. Punky says, Sweet Pea Diaries, hey, chat. Oh, hey, Punky. Yep. He thought he had it in the bag because he was winning in the public eye, you know. He thought he had that thing in the bag. But this just goes to show you, I mean, a lot of the rappers, males, they really believe that violence against women is okay. And this is why I tell you guys not to support, and I tell people just not to support any and any old thing, not to support these songs, not to support these videos, not to support these rappers that victimize women, that, treat women like objects. They're singing about bees, hoes, and all this in these rap songs. And these women are treated like objects. Everybody's a twerker. Everybody's shaking booty and shaking ass. And then when this type of thing happens, this is why they don't scream protect black women. They don't care, and they act like women are objects. They act like women are trash. Women are just to be discarded. We're not to be believed. We deserve to be beat down. We deserve to be shot at because, hey, you're a drunk, you drink, all you are a problem, you sleep with everybody, all these things. So it's like you deserve to be shot. This is why I tell people, just stop. Don't even be supporting these rappers. Don't be supporting these people and giving them money because they don't care about black women at all. They don't care about black women. Lily says, I prayed hard for Megan in this trial. I was so sad for her. I mean, really, I'm not going to say that I was sad for her because in a way, I try not to judge Megan Thee Stallion, but I have a hard time with her personality. And I have a hard time with some of the things that she does. But she did not deserve to be shot. Period. The violence that was perpetrated against her, she didn't deserve that at all. And that's what people needed to focus on, which is why I wasn't reporting on it, because I didn't want to sound like I was not in favor of the victim, but I just did not, I just needed more evidence. I needed more proof as to what was going on. It was just too murky for me. The stuff wasn't just clear cut. The story was all over the place. And it's still just like that reporter said on that Law and Crime piece clip that we watched. You're still coming away from this. Who shot Megan? You still feel like that. This is the first trial I've ever witnessed where you don't feel like this verdict, that you feel 100% confident with it. Like the verdict, I'm not going to say where you don't feel the verdict 100% confident, the story, how it went down. Like I'm not 100% going with it. Like I really believe that there's some really other shit that Kelsey is involved in. And her being given immunity, I don't think that they should have jumped the gun and gave her immunity. For what? What would you give her immunity for? Okay, it tells me that there is some guilt, that she's involved in something. And if I testify for you, I need to know that I'm not going to be any charges brought on me. I feel like she's involved in some way, shape, or form that would have put her behind bars, which I can probably believe, that maybe that witness the story could have went like that, where she could have fired the first shot and Tory could have ran up to grab the gun and started shooting, at her, because they were emotionally charged because of their relationship, because of what they were doing. I feel confident in the verdict and justice. I feel confident in the verdict, and I feel confident that justice was served. But the story, I'm not confident in that. That's where I'm at. Yeah, I'd like to see the transcripts too. Lily says, I'm 100% going with it. They will get her for perjury. I mean, do you think that Kelsey was involved? Do you think that, how many people think that, put a hand raised or put a 1 in the chat if you think Kelsey was involved? If you think Kelsey fired that first shot, put a 1 in the chat. Like I said, I agree with the verdict. I don't believe that Megan was not shot. I believe Megan was shot. I believe Tory shot Megan. But do you believe that Kelsey could have fired the first shot and he grabbed the gun and shot, at her? Do you believe that? How many people think that that could have been one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really think that. I think that Princess says 11111. Yeah. And that's really what I think. I believe that Kelsey was involved more than what she's saying, and Megan was shot by them. I believe Megan was shot by them. She was shot by the both of them. That's how I believe. I believe that they shot her, and they were all emotionally charged over whatever the hell they were doing behind the scenes, and they shot her. And that's why I'm saying, her as a victim, she definitely deserved vindication. Someone needed to be punished for what happened to her. That's where people are getting sidetracked. They're caught up in the story of her being a drunk, her drinking, her doing this, her having sex with the baby, her doing that, her being this with the Megan. Kelsey's jealous, this and that. That shit don't got nothing to do with nothing. She was shot, period. And someone needs to be held accountable, which is going to be Tory Lanez, because Kelsey got immunity because she played them goddamn people. She played the prosecution. and we know how that's true, because her ass was with who she was with, 1501 and them and Jay Prince and them. She was at some goddamn party and she was gloating about loyalty and bragging. What's that tell you? She ain't looked like she was fucking needed to plead the fifth, and she was upset and she was all, traumatized when she did that goddamn live. And when she was holding that damn wine or champagne bottle. Dion says that's why he paid for her lawyer. But if he paid for her lawyer, it didn't do him it didn't help. She sat there and act like she didn't know she didn't want to incriminate him, but it didn't help him at all. It actually helped her. She got up there and helped herself. She was loyal to herself. Okay? She sat up there and did that screaming loyalty and all this shit with Jay Prince and the 1501 boy, Carl, whatever his name is. But she didn't give the prosecution what she was supposed to give. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, Punky Brewster. Thank you, Marcella. Tori says, I don't think he paid for the lawyer either. She's worth $5 million. She got enough money to pay for her own lawyer. Lily says they coached Kelsey for the trial. I just don't. She did play in a face, Dion. Yes, he can appeal. Anyone can appeal. But usually with an appeal, there has to be a mistake in the case, right? We can't just say, oh, we don't like a verdict, so we want to appeal. His lawyers got to find a reason to appeal. So they got to comb through that damn court case transcripts and all of that to find the loophole, So I'm expecting them to appeal, because that's what people do. Call Crawford. That's his name, Iris. Absolutely. So they've got to find holes in the case, and they got to find an error to be able to appeal. Yeah, if Kelsey's worth $5 million, I'm trying to figure out if she is worth $5 million, where she get $5 million from? Duke says Tory is not convicted of shooting Megan, who shot her. He is convicted of shooting Megan. They just, the jury found him guilty of shooting Megan. I Am Terrific says, I wonder why Kelsey got immunity. And I believe it's just my theory that she got immunity because there is some guilt on her behalf. She could have incriminated herself if she had have answered some of them questions that they was asking her. And I believe that she's more involved than what she said. And she told them prosecutors that, but they wanted Tory, right? She wasn't on trial. They wanted Tory. They wanted to prosecute Tory. So she told them what was going on. They know. And they gave her immunity in exchange for her testimony. But she got up there and she fooled them. Okay? I don't know if she promised them. I'm going to say that, but she had already told them on her taped deposition or interview. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Her taped interview with the police, with the DA previously, before the trial. She told them that Tory had shot Megan. She saw him shoot Megan. So they already had that on tape, which they played in court. So by her being given immunity, they thought that that's what she was going to get on the stand and say. So they might have not, had that in clear cut before she went on the stand. Verbally, they might have not agreed to that in court or whatever, but they thought because she had already said it on that taped interview that that's what she was going to go up there and say. Lily says, well, they didn't fool God. Okay. Marcella says, next month, Meg goes to court with Carl. Yep. He wanted Meg to look bad in this case. Of course he did. He always wants Meg to look bad. He wants her to look like a drunk. He wants her to look like she, screws everybody. Like she's just this, this little fast tail whore that wanted a deal, and she drinks, and, she's just a wild girl and a loose cannon. He wants her to look like that. Yeah. Mrs. Parker says, Aaron B., not only him, black men need to heighten their senses. But he also stated, Tori says, but he also stated that she was scared because she was getting threatened. And she said, but she is. If she is a loose cannon, if she drinks, if she does all those things, it still doesn't negate the fact that she was shot. That's what people can't put people's character on trial, right? But they do. That's their job. That's what the prosecution, we want to show how she lies. That's what they said. We're going to show how she lies. We're going to show how she drinks. We're going to show how, she was having sex with the baby. They were arguing over men. This is a case about jealousy. This is what they wanted to show. That's what Tasha tried to do with Cardi B. Same thing. People try to put people's character, their public persona, on trial. But that has nothing to do with the facts of a person being a victim because they were shot. Period. And I think that is what the jury, they focused on. They focused on him shooting Megan. Not Megan drinking, not the fight at Kylie's, not all the shit that the media wants to hear, that we all the juicy shit, the tea. No, the facts. Now, the Tory's family was outside screaming, going crazy, acting like they wanted to put a voodoo spell on the goddamn judge and everybody and the juries, okay? They wanted to put a voodoo spell on them people, honey. Now, they're out there, and I don't know if that was his dad or uncle or whoever, I guess his father, I don't know. But they were saying that his hand, his fingerprints, no fingerprints on the gun, all these things, they were just going crazy. Talking about, God sees everything. You got children. They really acting like they were going to put a spell on someone. Honey, that girl, the one with the afro, whatever, she looked like she getting ready to go home immediately and make a voodoo doll and start sticking pins in that damn judge, honey. If you start getting heartburn or your back go out, you could thank her, honey, because I seen it in her eyes. She ready to put a damn voodoo spell on you and get a doll and start sticking pins. That is, she's ready, okay? She's ready to stick the pins and break your back. Miss Parker says, I can see one count, not three. Honey, he was found all three, right? Mrs. Parker says, but we're going to be realists. This woman was sleeping with a man who she claimed her friend was set up to date. Then shit didn't go her way that night at Kylie's house. Oh, that was his father. And who is the lady? Because, honey, I'm telling you, they were out there acting a fool. Coach says, I just don't understand why all these old grown men keep talking about and attacking Megan. Keep in mind, she's still young. She lost her mother, grandmother, and I think her father. That's trauma. That's Miss Sunstar Peterson and his wife. Child. Mr. Sunstar Peterson. Carl posted on IG, he's stupid. Marcella says, Sweet Pea, can you do a show on all these abusive rappers? Trey Songz, The Baby, Chris Brown, Tory Lanez, Blueface. Please give your great commentary. I'm telling you, this is black men. They are trying to kill black women, okay? They are raised to kill us. I'm telling you, they are trying to take us out. Oh my God, they are trying to take us out, honey. Red Lipstick Lily says her sleeping with anyone has nothing to do with her getting shot, period. Megan says, Miss Parker, one count is handling an illegal firearm. That's definitely guilty. And then shooting her, guilty. And, you know, I mean, hey, it is what it is. He got found guilty. He's facing 22 years. He threw his career away over one night, you know. And this is, you know, this little man, the little man that he is, trying to handle them two big ass women. Tory, you should have knew better. You should have known you weren't able to handle all of that, child. Now, come on. I could have told you that. You was too little to be trying to handle Meg Thee Stallion and Kelsey. But, I mean, it is what it is, guys. Tory Lanez found guilty on all counts, all three, facing 22 years in prison. What do you guys think? You think he's going to get 22 years? I don't know. Of course, he's not going to get 22 years. But do you guys think he's going to get any time in the slammer? Do you think it's going to be house arrest or, you know, some type of suspended? I mean, what do you think? I think he should have took a plea deal. I'm pretty sure they offered it to him, but he thought he was going to go in there and spank this shit. You know, high-powered lawyers. I'm winning in the press. He thought he was going to win in court, and it just does not work like that. Duke says, Tory has been reckless for a long time, assaulted many artists before. Yep. Miss Parker says, damn, that would be a good show, but without Blueface, because Chrisanne be whooping his ass. They're just toxic, them two. Yes, Sweet Pea, all these male rappers and celebrities sleep with multiple women and have all these children. Nobody shames them. Let's do a deep dive. Okay. I'll take a look at that. Yeah, he's going to be deported. Definitely. Everybody put your hoods in the air and wave them like you just don't care. Stop it, Digi Daddy. Megan is not a horse. Stop it. I am sick of you. He will be deported. That he will be. So you think he's going to be deported and what? So if he's deported, then you're saying that he won't go to jail? He won't go to prison, or he'll be deported and he have to serve prison over there. That's not, they wouldn't be able to do that because where his country don't have nothing to do with what he did over here. So he would have to serve his time and then be deported. Oh, they offered several plea deals. Well, he should have took them. He should have took at least one, okay? Because, honey, they found your ass guilty. So I think that's how it would go. But I definitely know he will be deported. He definitely will be deported. But he would have to definitely do his time in America and then be deported because his country would not be able to handle and serve any justice that the United States has put, you know, anything, verdicts or any rulings that they have put in place for him. He'd have to do that shit over here. So what do you guys think? I mean, damn, Tory Lanez. You are done. I'm glad she got justice. Now they can stop saying the woman didn't get shot. Well, she got shot. She got shot. It wasn't glass. It wasn't, you know, the road, the pieces from the road. She got shot and Tory Lanez shot her. Can you imagine being worth millions of dollars and you going to jail because you shot somebody? It's crazy. You know, these kids, they get, but you know, this is what I always say about these kids, that they go from nothing. They come from the ghetto. They come from the hood. You know, they're not raised up with any type of money or anything. And they're not used to the fame and the fortune. And they get this money and they just go buck wild. You know, there's nobody teaching them. You know, all of their family just want handouts. Their family just want the money, the fame, the fortune. You know, there's no one around to reel them in. You know, you look at Megan, you know, with the drinking and everything. You know, we know that she's lost her family. There should be people around trying to reel her in with the drinking. Get her some help, you know. Help, you know, Rock Nation and them should be having her see therapists. They should be helping her medically and mentally, not just encouraging her to drink and go buck wild and be at all these parties. That's what they live rock star lives. It's like, it's just nonstop. You know, they be touring and partying and, you know, doing all these things, and all they're doing is drinking. Megan is hurt. She's wounded. She's got a lot going on with her as far as her family is concerned. Losing all of your, you know, your parents, your grandmother, losing everyone, all the adults in your life. I mean, she's got all this fame and nobody to share this with, no one to bless, no one to buy homes for, take your mama and your dad out the hood, no one to do all of that for. That's got to be very traumatic. And that's what her and Tory shared, that bond, and they all could relate, based on the fact that they've both lost their parents. That was the commonality between the two of them. And I just think that the industry is too much for them. It's too much for youth that never came from nothing. You just get millions of dollars, you're thrust into the public eye, and you dealing with trauma. That's a lot. That's a lot. So Tory just been a loose cannon for a long time. It caught up with him. This is just like Trey Songz and all of these men that feel like they got this money, this prestige, this power. And so women are objects. I can do whatever I want. You do what I tell you. I'm giving money, so I deserve sex, control over your body. Your body is mine. I can shoot at it. I can beat it. I can have sex with it. I can do whatever I want to do to it because I have money. And that's what they believe. Absolutely, Sweet Pea. And if something happened to her, everybody would to the praise and condolences. Why not help her while she's navigating her public life? Period. And I think that's what they should have. These record labels in the industry, they should have people on staff. They got handlers. They got people around them. They put these other people on their team. Why don't they have mental health professionals and people, to help counsel them and help them get through life and get through? Look at Summer Walker. Look at her anxiety and the public, anxiety she feels when she go to perform. She has social anxiety. This is what the industry should be doing. They should be focused on helping, not just milking them. They're just cash cows, these celebrities. They should be focused on helping them. How can you have a sick celebrity, a celebrity with mental health issues? How are they going to make you money, longevity, if you don't deal with those issues? They don't care. They'd rather see them addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, addicted to sex, addicted to all these things instead of getting them help. They sit there and watch them pop perks, get lean. They get it for them. I've heard stories about people going to, recording studios and record executives asking them, what's your poison? What you like? We can get you anything. Pills and drugs and shit. Like, come on. So definitely justice was served. Tory shot Megan. He shot Megan, and Megan got her victory. Period. Princess says, Sweet Pea, you can't make people get help though. Nope, you can't. You can't make people get help. But I feel like they should just have, they should have the shit in place for people. Like, if, it just seemed like everything is like here. Y'all want to do drugs? Here it is. Y'all want to get hot? Here it is. Y'all want to drink? Here it is. They just encourage partying. And a lot of these kids, they like Summer, they got social anxiety. They need all that shit to be able to get on stage, to be able to be twerking and popping it and all that. They need to be high. They need to be outside of who they really are to do all of that, So it's just one big old party. So Megan Thee Stallion was shot. Right? That is without a shadow of a doubt. But the conversation, Tory, Kelsey, and Megan were in a threesome. Do you believe that? Do you think that they had a three-way and Kelsey got upset because Megan and Tory dipped off and did the do without her? If you believe that, put a 1 in the chat. Do you believe that they were all doing the do? Sound off. I've heard a lot of people say that. That's what it was. They were in an affair. They were all doing it. They was humping. All three of them humping and grinding, bumping and grinding. And Kelsey got upset because they dipped off and they did it without her. One in the chat if you think that's what it is. And then Kelsey got upset. She grabbed that gun and she pow. And Tory jumped up and grabbed it. And because he's short and little, his hand he couldn't control the gun. The blowback was too much for him. Lisa, hey Lisa. Lisa says 1. Princess says 1. It was a 3-way. Some people think it was a 3-way. Duke says they treat these artists like currency. They always sign the next one, period. Once that one is used up, here comes another. It's a production line. That's really, make money. Make us money. We don't care about your mental health. We don't care about you being on drugs. We don't care about none of that. As long as you can get up there and perform and make that cash, we don't care about shit. But yeah, guys, that's really all it is. It boils down. I mean, it was a lot with this. This trial, it was definitely one for the history books. I'm glad it's over. We can put this behind us. Megan can put it behind her. Like she said, instead of being able to celebrate her just doing this song with Beyonce, she had to deal with being shot. That's a lot, That's a lot. That is traumatizing. Can you imagine what it'd be feeling like to be shot by somebody? Right? Definitely was traumatized. I bet you she sobered up really quickly once them guns, that gun went off. His little arm couldn't handle that gun. That's what I said. Pow! It just went crazy, honey. Tory wanted to get it on with Kylie and they knew it. Well, that's the industry. That it seems like the orgies. It's like once you get into Hollywood, it's like you can just do whatever you want to do. All of your wildest dreams just come true. It's really like your flesh is just anything you want. You can have it. It's all secrecy. Everything is surrounded by, an oath of secrecy. You do what you do in these parties. You come to these celebrities' house. Whatever goes on in here, it stays in here. You see how Beyonce, she got people, she make them sign NDAs. So whatever goes on at them parties, you'll never hear about at Beyonce party. Them people are sworn to secrecy. You'll get sued. You talk about anything that happens at a Beyonce party. What could possibly be going down in there that you got to sign a goddamn NDA? But people was like, nah, she just don't want her business out there. That's how she was able to keep her business a secret all this time. You want me to tell me you need an NDA to keep a party a secret? If ain't shit going on in there, it's a Christmas party. Y'all just drinking eggnog and a little bit of champagne and shit, wearing red dresses and everybody go home. You get a little drunk and you go home. It's got to be something going on where an NDA is needed to be signed. Child bye. Hey, lovely love. Hey, Shannon. Shy P says, I think they treated her wrong, but she got Tory in the end. Good for you, Meg. Coach says, y'all notice there's always a Kardashian Jenner in the mix of everything. Child. And didn't they say Kanye is missing now? Didn't I hear that? That Kanye is missing? Child. Somebody been trying to serve him with a lawsuit and they can't find him. Oof. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. And then y'all see Lamar Odom. He done came out with his story, honey, on Hulu. And Chloe is not happy with that. He said, honey, if y'all knew half of the stories and half of the shit that he was into, he said drugs, that crack pipe was his God, was his girlfriend, was his wife. Okay, that crack pipe was his wife. So that's it, guys. Y'all, Tory Lanez found guilty facing 22 years. I don't think he's going to get 22 years, but I do think that he's going to get some time in jail. I don't think it's going to be house arrest or, anything attached to his leg or anything. I think he's going to do his time and then be deported. But one thing I do know, he has ruined his career. That's over. I know he's got to be sitting there like, damn, but from what I read online, once the verdict was read, the bailiffs, they put him in handcuffs and walked him on out of there, right? Let's see. Let's see here on this article here. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's this one. The jury, comprised of 5 men and 7 women, began deliberating on Thursday, and a verdict was reached Friday afternoon. Lanez was taken out of the courtroom by bailiffs in handcuffs after the verdict was read. He faces a maximum sentence of 22 years in prison and possible deportation back to his native Canada. Well, wait a minute. So they reached this today's Friday. I thought today was Thursday. Child, y'all know I'm behind. I could have swore today was Thursday. Today is Friday, honey. Y'all know I've been, child, it's Christmas. This shit got me in a headlock. I'm like, wait a minute. Today not Friday. Child, listen. Yeah, so the verdict was reached on Friday afternoon, honey, and the bailiffs, they put his ass in handcuffs and took him out of the courtroom. And he faces 22 years in prison and possible deportation to his native Canada. I thought he was from Haiti. I thought that's where he was from. But I keep forgetting that, Canada is not, that's considered foreign as well. But I know his family, they definitely wasn't Canadian, honey. They was screaming and acting like they was ready to put on some type of Haitian spell. They was getting ready to, I know tomorrow's Christmas Eve, honey. That I do know, but I was mixed up on the actual days. Honey, I've been running around here trying to get, I told y'all earlier that my kid's father just threw a monkey wrench in Christmas for my daughter. And I've been running around trying to do last minute things and get funds and stuff to buy her last little things that she wanted, because honey, he was supposed to do certain things and give money, and he done ghosted us, honey. He done blocked us and every goddamn thing. So honey, you gonna be in court next. Yeah, nigga, you. 2023. I told y'all, these black men, honey. These black men's, they are something else. And this is what black women, unprotected, unloved, victimized, yet we are strong. We are mothers, we are daughters, we are wives, and we're not protected. Who loves us? Who protects us? Who cares about us? Here it is, this girl was shot, and everybody was talking about her sex life, her being a drunk, all of these things. Hell, I had doubt whether she was shot or not, but I still was respectable about it. I still was respectful. I still didn't, shame her. I just laid out the facts, what was going on. But she was shot. She's a victim. And her life, her sex life and private life was put on stand, was put on trial. And she wasn't even the one on trial. Crazy. I cannot sing Ben, Shannon. I do that on the backup channel. And all this dance, bitch, and then shot her. It it reminded me, like I put in the documentary about this, it reminded me of that Harlem Nights piece where Della Reese was like, shoot me in my pinky toe. Go ahead, shoot me. Here it is. Shoot me in my pinky toe. Here it is. It reminded me of that. And Della Reese played that. It was so funny. Shannon, we ain't singing, Ben. It reminded me of that, but it's just sad, it's sad that all the things that Black women, what we go through, we are so strong, we're resilient, and we push through. Even with Megan being shot, honey, she still got right up there and did performances after that, still fulfilled her obligations as an artist. And meanwhile, she was going through all this stuff mentally, in the public, the trolling and everything. So that just goes to show you how strong Black women are, and, our men, Black women, have to deal with these Black men that just don't care about them. They don't care about us. And that's a shame. I mean, I'm not going to say all Black men are that way, but we definitely have a disconnect when it comes to the Black community, Black men and Black women. We definitely need to love each other more, and we need to fix that because we are definitely separated. There is no other race, on this planet that are so divided. Black men and Black women, we just are not together. And it's really sad. It really is. It's sad, but it goes back a long way. It goes back a long way. No, it's not all Black men. It is true. It is true. I have a Black man, an ex-husband. Mm-hmm. And that man didn't do nothing but beat me down the whole time that I was with that man, 20 years. That man victimized me. That man terrorized me. He terrorized my children. He terrorized our home. He terrorizes people in the streets. He is very violent and aggressive and needs help. And there are a lot of Black men like that. I'm sorry, but I'm calling it out. And I'm a Black woman. Now I can do that. I've had relationships with Black men, and I know that a lot of them are wounded. A lot of them need healing. They are broken, and they need counseling. Period. And I'm not going to sit here and say that they that is not true, because it is. And still he lied, Tory and Kelsey. After she got shot, she still tried to not say anything bad about anybody. She has a kind heart, and he still lied, Tory and Kelsey. Right. No, it's not all of them. There's clear men be aggressive too. I can't speak on white men. And I'm not saying that they aren't. I'm speaking on Black men. You can't do that. This is how we will never address these problems and handle these problems, because we don't want to acknowledge them. It exists, and it is an issue. Black men are broken. Some Black men are broken. A lot of Black men in our neighborhoods, our brothers, our cousins, even our sons, they are broken, and they need healing. They need counseling. A lot of Black men, I've said this before, they come from homes that are one-parent homes with just women. They've been exposed to violence, drug dealing, all out in the streets, fighting, rage, shooting. You know what I'm saying? That they're like in a war in their communities outside, shooting guns and drug dealing, robbing, and all these things. And then they try to get in a relationship and call themselves being a husband, being a father. How can you do that when you suffering from PTSD? You don't think that men that have been drug dealers and they've been, in gunfights and all this stuff, that they're suffering from PTSD? You got people that go to war, they're suffering from PTSD. So you don't think that that's PTSD, just living in the ghetto? Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. And a lot of these men are suffering from that. And then they try to call themselves being a goddamn husband to somebody. How can you be a husband to somebody and care about somebody else's feelings when you don't even know how to internalize and express your own feelings? See, that's what we have to be brave enough and bold enough as a community of people to acknowledge the issues and the problems that are in our community. I understand your stance, sweetie, but respect. I've never been in your shoes. I can't tell you how to feel, period. And I'm not saying that. I just thank goodness I never encountered a man who's detrimented to my being. And it's sad that I have seen most of the black men that I've dealt with are angry. They have rage issues. They have control issues. They don't know their father. They've only been raised by their mother. They don't know how to treat women. They've never been shown how to treat a woman as a man. They don't know how to raise other boys because they're still a boy themselves. And forget about it, the ones that have been in jail, since they were young, their growth and their age and everything is stunted. They went to jail at 16 and stayed in there all these years, honey. And then they get out at 30 and 40 and call themselves trying to be a productive citizen. Here it is. You still 16 because you went to jail at one age, came out grown. You grew up in there. So you didn't grow up in society to be able to intermingle with people and know about ups and downs, know about struggles. You know what I'm saying? So then when you get out and you call yourself trying to get a job, you get rejected. You trying to have a family, you can't provide. So now you're frustrated because the system don't give you a job. So now you're blaming everyone. You're blaming society. You're angry. You're mad. So now you go out and commit a crime because you can't get a job. And the cycle just continues. And then you're taking it out on the people that care about you. Listen, I know. I've been there. I know how these black men is, child. So, you can't get upset about people that, like, I listen to, I've seen Nosy Ho, and I've seen some of her videos and some of the things that she says about the black community. And some people get upset and they don't know how to internalize it because it is she's very direct and she's very opinionated about it. Some people don't know how to internalize that and they take it as negativity. But I get her message and I definitely can agree with some of the things that she says because I've experienced that with men, black men. And Tory is a black man, and a lot of black men suffer from rage issues, control issues, especially someone short like him. They're trying to always prove that they're big and bad and they don't fuck with me. I might look short, but I can whoop your ass, and it just is what it is, so. It's just a lot. It's a lot of conversation around this whole thing. A lot of people are talking about the black man versus black woman narrative. They really are. And, about how black men just don't value black women's lives. So I'm not the first person to say this, and I'm not the only one that's speaking on it. There's a lot of conversation around it. It's a lot of conversation around it, you guys. But as always, that's just my opinion. We don't always all have to agree. We can agree to disagree. And I'm not judging anyone. All of this love and respect will cure all this. Just get counseling, get help. The black community, we don't want to talk about getting counseling. The first thing, go to church, get your hands laid on you. Get them to lay them hands. You need deliverance. You need Jesus. No, you need help mentally. You can just, you need to speak to a professional. It's okay to go get counseling. It's okay to speak with a doctor. Black men, it's okay to go speak to, get a mentor and speak to another brother, speak to another man that maybe has survived those things. And now, he's turned his life around and he can talk to you about violence and talk to you about violence against women and how to overcome those things. It's okay. It's all right to speak about your weaknesses and speak about your downfalls. Black men got to learn that. How to verbally express themselves instead of being rageful, picking up guns and wanting to shoot somebody and hurt somebody and harm somebody. Megan Thee Stallion did not deserve to be shot. by Tory Lanez or Kelsey or whoever, she did not deserve to be shot. It didn't need to go that far. A gun, pulling out a gun and shooting. What if she had have been shot in a different area and she wouldn't, wasn't here to even tell her side of the story? It would have been a whole nother narrative. He didn't have to shoot her and kill her, but because it was just her feet, it's just her feet. No, she was shot. It don't matter what part of the body. We kind of somehow minimize it and it lessens the brunt because she wasn't killed or it wasn't a vital organ. It was just her feet and the bullet just grazed her feet. Still she was shot and she still got these bullet fragments in her feet to this day. You can have Jesus, prayer, and a therapist. You can have all three, right? We don't have to, just go to church. Church, Jesus will heal it all. No. We have to be willing to do some of that work. You can't put it all on God. God is not a magician. You got to do the work. You got to be the one to heal, so black men definitely, they need to start talking about their problems and they need to start verbally expressing their hurt and their pain. Because if not, it's just going to continue. They're just going to continue to be, terrorizing people and being violent against people, period. It didn't have to go that far at all. So I'm getting ready to go, you guys. Thank you for participating in the chat. I'm sorry it took so long to report on this topic, but I really wanted the verdict. So here we have it. Tory Lanez guilty on all counts, facing 22 years in prison for the shooting of Meg Thee Stallion. That's where we at. Make sure you like this video, share the video, but most importantly, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye, you guys. Have a good night. Bye.